Wait, they were like, what?
And I was like, boss, please. Hey bosses, it's Jillian. Welcome back to another episode of Boss Please. I'm with Meghan.
Hey.
How you doing today, girl?
I'm good.
So how are you a boss this week?
I was a boss thanks to you. I know this is not the first time I've said that, but thanks to you because...
Do tell. I haven't heard this yet.
Yeah, because I used to love to read, and really I haven't had the time. And you gave me a wonderful book from someone that we are going to get on the podcast in the future. And Summerland, actually, I'll give her a shout out now. Her first book you gave to me, and I love it. I mean, I'm reading it slowly because I only read it before bed, and I'm a slow reader, so I'll read a couple pages here and there, but I'm more than halfway through. And she's hysterical. But I have a newfound love for reading again. So, after her book, I'll maybe read her second one or have something else in the interim. So, yes, I feel like a boss because I'm educating myself with words instead of a screen.
Well, I actually, she sent me her second book a couple weeks ago, and last Sunday I had nothing to do, so I literally sat on the couch and read the entire book.
Oh, wow.
So you can take that with you today.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's amazing.
And
they're very quick and good reads.
Yeah, and it was hysterical. Summer actually lives in Australia, so that's why it's been a challenge to get her on the podcast, but hopefully you guys will be able to enjoy her very soon. I know she's really excited to come on the show.
There's so many questions to ask her, especially about her mom too. I want to know about Donna.
My God.
Donna.
I love it.
She's funny. But yeah, okay, so let's get into some real talk.
Well, how was I a boss this week?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Can we just talk about how that was such a Meghan, selfish moment? Can we just talk about how it was all about Meghan moment? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I gave her eyes because my boss this week is that I bought myself flowers, which are sitting on the table right now.
I was like, these are beautiful. And sadly, not in a boss mode. I was like, oh, maybe Seamus bought them for her. But
No,
yes, get it, girl.
I bought myself flowers. I think it's really important to treat yourself in small ways. And for me, I really love walking into my apartment and seeing fresh flowers. So yeah, I just treated myself a little bit, and they're so beautiful. Costco, bitch.
I've thought to myself, I'm like, I need flowers because they really do brighten up a room. Yeah. But I also have two skeevy cats.
Oh my God, they'll just knock them over.
They would knock them over and eat them, and I feel like they're actually deadly
to
cats. So I'm like, I can't on the flowers. But anyways, oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Okay, now we can do the real talk.
Now we can do the real talk. Why don't you introduce the real talk?
We have a really amazing woman on the podcast today, and she has sort of manifested her dreams to be a TV host, and she's found herself in New York now. For Meghan and I, we feel like, wow, she's really made it. So how have you made it so far in your life, or do you feel like you've made it?
I feel like I was actually just having an audition, and I actually had to fill out a questionnaire, and I think that was one of the questions. It was like, what is your biggest accomplishment so far? And I always have to stop and think, because it's never anything. I feel like I go back and I look, and I've done a lot. Have I succeeded in anywhere where I want to? Hell no. Mm-hmm. But what I go back to is my biggest accomplishment has been stepping outside my comfort zone. Mm. You're talking to a girl that grew up in a small town, obsessed with my mom and dad. Really, they held my hand through everything. And the thought of moving 3,000 miles away from my comfort, never in a million years. You would have asked me in high school, would I ever do that? I'd be like, oh, hell no. But I did it. And I'm a better person because of it. And I'm more defined. And I know more about myself because of it. So that is probably my biggest accomplishment to date.
That's awesome.
What about you, girl?
I don't think I've made it per se, but I do have to give myself credit constantly because I just turned 30 and I'm the managing editor of a major entertainment website where I started out as an editorial assistant. So I worked my way up. I showed that I, was a really hard worker, somebody that can be depended on. So yeah, that coupled with balancing everything else that I do, which, to the naked eye, I feel like somebody that wouldn't know me would be like, okay, well, she seems really busy in her job. But it's like, I have 40 jobs. Between this podcast and doing voiceover stuff and writing with my boyfriend, because we've been working on a script together. Yeah. It's about balance. And you also still have to find time for yourself. So I'd say my make it moment hasn't happened yet, but I do try to give myself as much credit as possible because I do think we need that. We need to look back and be like, holy crap, we did that, and you didn't mention half the stuff that you've done, but it's a little bit different in your world because you're a freelancer. So there have been multiple projects that you've done. And
Right.
I would say, you know, if I had a make it moment for you, it would be Freeform.
Oh, actually, yeah, that was my
You know, like I would be
yeah,
like,
Freeform was my make it
you
moment.
got on a network that you've always wanted to go on, doing something that you've always wanted to do,
Yeah.
and you did that. Nobody else did that. You got the meeting. You pitched it. You made it happen.
You're
and
right.
luckily, the girls that you were with reaped the benefits of that.
Yeah.
But you did it.
Thanks, girl. No, yeah, you're right. And I don't know how I let that go past me. But I think, too, it's because it didn't last. Like, it would have been, I did succeed. And you're exactly right. That's exactly what I wanted to do. But I was hoping for a little bit more longevity, and we didn't get that. So and then it was like to go all the way back to the drawing board. You don't think you're going to take 10 steps back, maybe one, but you're like, oh, geez, here we go again, starting all over again. But
a win's a win.
A win is a win. And I a lot of times I forget what I've done, and it doesn't occur to me until maybe I go on YouTube and I like search my name if I'm looking for a certain clip, and I'm like, I can't remember what it was in. I just go through all my old reels and I just see everything. I'm like, Meg, like, okay, girl, I see you.
Yeah,
like, you've done a lot.
I've done stuff.
So, it is a journey. It is a struggle and it is a grind. But someone, like you were saying, that knows that very, very well is Heather Gardner, who is now at HuffPost. And she has so much to share with us when we get back to you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am so excited to have my good friend Heather Gardner on the phone calling us from New York. I'm sure it's really cold there, but it's also kind of cold here, but I'm not going to complain. Anyways, okay. Heather Gardner is the host of Huffington Post's brand new series, In Case You Missed It. Yes, by HuffPost. Each week, ICYMI discusses the stories that live between the lines on entertainment and political news. Heather's outspoken opinion on pop culture, social issues, and celebrity news has provided a fruitful career in Hollywood as a host, producer, and writer. Before HuffPost, Heather was the host and producer of Yahoo's first ever vertical series, You Win Internet. She was then the lead host and executive producer at Holly Scoop, where she hosted daily entertainment news segments and panels, that's when I first met you, Heather, I think, when you were at Holly Scoop.
Yeah, it was. God, it seems so long ago now, right?
It does. We're growing up so fast. I can't even believe it. So Heather, obviously, we've been in the same hosting circle, but what I admire about you is your journalism. So when did you first learn that you, as baby Heather, wanted to be a journalist?
Oh gosh, I mean, it took me till college, really, because I wasn't in newspaper or yearbook or anything in high school, but I was a singer, and I immediately went right to college and started doing the whole singing as a career track, and that was just not going to work. Let's just be real, just wasn't going to work.
Girl, you have a great singing voice, though.
Well, yeah, but I'm not Carrie Underwood. So in college, I kind of had this realization my second year in that I didn't really want to, be a music teacher, and I didn't really want to move to Nashville or anything to try that. And I kind of thought, what is a career that I could still, talk to people or get in front of people? And just kind of this light bulb thing in my head, I'm like, oh, let's think about journalism. And, yeah, that's kind of how it started. But, from there, it was, definitely, the best place for me, for sure.
So can you tell us about your first job, the first time you really had a gig that was in front of camera where you're doing everything you wanted to do?
Well, if we're talking about everything I've ever wanted to do, I've still got so many things I feel like I haven't even hit that point yet. But no, the first job that I had on camera, it was my first. I was actually a radio host at the time.
I was going to say you did radio. Mm-hmm.
I did, and that was interesting because, when you get out of college, and we all are around the same age, it was, the time of the recession. So I took a job in radio, knowing that I didn't want to do radio. I wanted to do television, but it was the only job that was offered to me at the time. And so, a big lesson in just kind of take opportunities where you can get them. Even though I wasn't on camera and I was doing radio, I convinced my boss to let me do little videos and interviews for the website. So I would set up my own little camera. I convinced them to buy a cheap camera, and I would set that up, and then it would just go onto our website. And this is even before like Instagram and Twitter, I don't even think, or even Facebook didn't even have like video at the time that you could upload. I'm really aging myself here, but it just kind of lived on the website. But I always knew I wanted to do entertainment news, and I was a country music radio host, and so I would always just go and interview like little baby country artists, and I thought I was like this entertainment reporter in Indiana. But it was, that was my first time. It was kind of the start of like the digital media movement from Indiana.
I love it.
First little on-camera thing, yeah.
That's amazing. So obviously the struggle is real. When did you first discover that the struggle was going to be a little bit more real than you thought?
Well, I mean, first of all, moving to Indiana and taking a radio job when I wanted to be on television was definitely the struggle. And, I took that job again because it was like the only one that was offered to me, and the other option was to move back in with my parents. So I didn't really have a lot of options at the time. It was move to Indiana and kind of go that route and try to make it work, or move back home. And so, I mean, that was like the struggle was real. And, I can go on and on about all the different stories and all the different opportunities that I made for myself in Indiana and that I tried to do to get to the eventual point of what I wanted to do. But yeah, I mean, literally right off the bat, it was like, here's your diploma. Here's real life. The struggle was real from the beginning.
You're right, girl. No, I feel it.
So if you follow on social media, you are, in the best way possible, very opinionated.
Yes.
You tell it like it is, and you give it to people straight. So has that impacted your career positively or negatively?
A little bit of both, actually. I think my overall, like, the way that it's worked out has been good, but also, I mean, I've lost jobs because I was too opinionated. Not everybody wants that. Luckily, now, to be a host, I feel like your opinions need to come through, and everybody is kind of in the same boat. There's so many media places. There's so many areas on television. There's so many areas on the internet. Anybody with their phone now can be on a video, can be a host, So to really cut through all that noise, having an opinion is like vital. But that wasn't always the case. I had opinions before. It was cool to have opinions. And I mean, I was told multiple times, including like at Holly Scoop, like, we don't do opinions. You stand there and you read your script and you just, you do that. And even when we started our first panel show, I created the very first panel show for Holly Scoop, and they did not want us to have opinions. It was, but I really, really pushed. I just felt strongly that I had things to say, first of all, but also I could see that the way that the industry was going, and the fact that everybody needed to have a voice out there. And I pushed and pushed and pushed to get us some more opinions, and that ended up being our number one show. And we ended up increasing our subscribers from just 100,000 to over 1 million because of our opinions. And so that really told me, because as soon as you could like prove that what you have to say means something, when you see those numbers go up, that proved to me that like that was the right track. And so again, like as soon as I got my second job in LA, working for Yahoo, again, it came with let's not do opinions. Let's do this straight by the book. We're Yahoo. We don't want a voice. We just are Yahoo. And it was something that I really, really struggled with. But again, I stuck to my guns, put my opinion when I could, even if it was just on my Instagram. And now that I'm at HuffPost, they plucked me from Yahoo simply because I did have an opinion, and they wanted me to have an opinion. And finally, I was like, I have been vindicated.
Wait, so I don't think I knew this. So we have a lot of catching up to do, but did HuffPost reach out to you, or did you pitch yourself? Or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both, yeah. So I think a lot of people know this, but Verizon Media owns both Yahoo and HuffPost.
Oh, okay.
And also, they own AOL and they own Tumblr. They own a lot of different media groups. And so I worked in the same family, and I was just perusing online one day. I was feeling pretty frustrated with Yahoo, to be honest, because What I thought was going to be an on-camera position after I left my on-camera job actually turned out not to be, for just reasons beyond anyone's control. It just wasn't. So I was just mostly doing like voiceover stuff and doing some interviews not on camera. I never actually did do anything on camera at Yahoo, and so I was feeling kind of frustrated in that. So I was just kind of perusing the website one day and saw that HuffPost was looking for a correspondent, and I was like, I love HuffPost, and so I sent them just my regular resume, and then I reached out to someone there, and then from there they, saw that I worked within the company. I had one meeting, that had another meeting, that had another meeting, and that's kind of when it became like me pitching. So they sought me out, and then it was me pitching to them basically what I thought that I could do within the HuffPost realm. And actually, the job that I applied for, they ended up giving me an even better job because of my pitches and because of my opinions and because of what I wanted to do. So yeah, they ended up giving me my own show instead of being just a correspondent.
Amazing. And this show is like your dream show, because it literally is. It's a panel about opinions. I've watched it. I think it's phenomenal. And you're like you're the lead. You kind of get the convo going and all that stuff. And it's just, I love it so much.
Thanks.
So a side note, all your meetings that you had at HuffPost, did you have to keep flying to New York? Or
No,
okay.
Thank goodness. No, I actually didn't come out to New York until the day that I moved here.
Oh, wow.
I know. Which, in retrospect, probably not a good idea. It all worked out. My apartment's great. It worked out that I live near the train, which is like I've now found out that that's like the most important thing, is where you live in proximity to the train.
Yes.
So yeah, it all worked out, but no, I didn't. We actually did everything. I think in total I had 5 meetings, and it was all over kind of like a Skype system that they have within the company. So yeah, it was pretty convenient actually.
So I just want to, so while we're on the topic of you moving to New York, when you had to make that decision, because I know all of us think about it. We're like, okay, we're in LA. If it's not happening here, is it happening in New York? There's a lot of auditions coming out of New York.
Right.
How did you come to the conclusion that this was the best thing for you?
So it was a lot of things. It wasn't just that this job was offered to me, and it's like, oh, what do I do? I have so many opportunities. What do I pick? Like, actually, I didn't have a lot of opportunities at that time. I had been kind of kicked around by LA, which is pretty common. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about that, but I'm going to talk to you about that. LA is hard. It's super freaking hard. And I had been there for going on 5 years. And even though I had done a lot, let's just be real here. I'm not a size 2. I had turned 30. So, I had a lot of things stacked against me by the industry that all women face within the industry. And I was feeling really down, and I wasn't getting any auditions, even though I had a manager, even though I thought my resume was stacked, even though I had done so much. I just kept seeing younger, thinner, prettier girls getting jobs that I have worked for 10 years for, and they just popped up. And so I felt really bad about it. And I got some bad feedback too from big places. I don't want to name names, but we're talking my dream job, people turned me down specifically because I was too old and not a size 2,
Oh,
so my God.
I really didn't feel like I had a ton of options to begin with. And I talked to my husband, who's also in the industry. He's an executive producer, or at the time, now he's unemployed. Thank the Lord for him. But at the time, he was an executive producer at Fox Sports. And, so he's living his dreams. And I'm sitting here on the sidelines thinking what do we have to do? Do I need to leave LA? And I wasn't thinking New York, to be honest. I kind of was over the hustle game. I was kind of in the part of my life where I thought maybe I wanted to, be settled a little bit more. I thought that I would have that big contract at E! News by now, our Entertainment Tonight. I thought that that's everything that I was leading up to, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So when this opportunity came, I didn't really have a lot of options. I just kind of was like, I told my husband if I felt like there was something around the corner for me in LA that I wouldn't take the job, but I just didn't feel that way in my heart. I didn't. I just just kind of felt like that was it for LA for now. Now I feel like I can go back and conquer it because like I'm doing the things that I had been wanting to do. If someone had just given me the chance,
Mm-hmm.
New York has given me that chance now, and now I feel like anything is possible. But I was in such a rut in LA.
So when you moved, you gave up a lot. You were without your husband for a really significant amount of time. So did that take, a really big impact on you guys together as a couple?
Us together as a couple, no. Lauren and I are freaks of nature. I don't understand how we work. To be honest, like literally, like we've been together for 9 years, coming up this next month, and we've been married for 4 years this year. And even just the other day, we're walking down the street, like holding hands, just laughing, giggling, doing our thing. And he just looked at me and smiled, and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Why is this so easy?" And I don't have an answer. So why is so easy with him? Like none of that fazed us, like in our relationship. Now, you want to talk about other struggles? Sure. I lived in this apartment. We moved, and it cost a ton. That's another thing that this glamorous life in New York, like. No, not so much. I mean, it cost a lot of money, and they didn't really give me a ton of, like, moving money and things. And so I lived without a couch or any furniture for 2 months.
Wow.
And I mean, we're still kind of bare bones here in our apartment and just, like, living in a new city by myself and having, like, no one. Like, truly not a single person that within the hundreds of miles. That was hard.
Yeah.
And also him being 3 hours time difference, I couldn't really talk to him a lot. We texted during the day and stuff, but FaceTime wasn't every day just because of the time difference. So yeah, it was just lonely. But our relationship didn't really take a hit. Like I said, we're freaks. I don't know.
Can I ask if he, obviously because he was living his dream job, was he like, "No, babe, like I got that, like, no, like I'm going to come be with you." Like, how did that all pan out? Like, that must have been, I mean, not that easy, or maybe it was for you. Yeah.
It wasn't easy. Luckily, here's the thing too, because like I had like 4 to 5 meetings with HuffPost over like a month-long period, and I had just gut feeling. I told Lauren, like, again, like I just feel like this is like exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now and where I'm supposed to be, because like when I saw that job posted, I literally turned to my husband who was sitting next to me and I said, "This is my job." And he laughed and he's like, "Okay, Heather, like whatever." And I'm like, no, this is my job.
Yeah.
I just felt it, like from that very moment that I read the job description, and I was like, if I could write my own job description, this would be it. And so we also, like, once the calls came in, and you know how you do in meetings, you know how you do in auditions, you know when you crush it, you know when things are clicking and fitting, and it was all those things for me. And so we had a month to kind of just fester and think about what this would look like. So when the offer officially came in, it wasn't like a big shocking thing. Like, we had a long time to think about this and talk to our families and talk to our friends and weigh it over. And we had kind of already made our decision. And again, like I told my husband, if I thought that something was better here, then I wouldn't do this. But it wasn't. And, he had been in his job for a while too, but he was also in the middle of applying for jobs as well. He was ready to just kind of leave his company and kind of take the big next step in his career, too. So we just kind of said, Lauren had a good run at his job. I had a good run at mine. And it was just like, all right, well, let's try to conquer New York.
Yes.
And so he's in media too, which is really lucky, and we're so blessed to be in the same industry because we understand each other. First of all, that's like the first and foremost thing. But also, like, he's going from market number 2, which is LA, to market number 1. So if there was any place that could be better for him, it's New York.
Of course.
So I mean, right now, to just put it all out there, the struggle is real. Like, he did come right after Christmas, right after the New Year, and it's been slow. He's had a couple of interviews, but it's been rough, and he's playing it cool, and I struggle with it more than he does because it's my fault,
No,
and
girl.
I know that it is though, and I feel so bad, and I love him so much, and like, damn, I'm like, girls, find yourself a guy who is willing to give up his dream job for you and
Oh.
move across the country, because, like, I feel so lucky and so blessed in that, and I definitely don't want to take it for granted or anything. I cry like every single time I talk about this.
Oh, girl.
Because I want him to have everything too, you know?
He
and
will.
so, like, I know he will, but I mean, I just am so, like, thankful that he did that for me. And so it's been slower than I thought it was going to be for him to find something. So
I do feel like things are picking up now, though. I do feel like before the summer months, a lot of people are hiring, and I know how talented he is, and especially having Fox Sports on his resume. You know, I'm sure, girl, but I can imagine how, you know, you must feel, but also that's marriage. It's balance, and you are.
Yeah, totally.
In, you know, you are. I'm talking like I know, like I'm the most single person over here.
I think that it's really important to note that in order, you know, it only helps you be sort of that badass boss bitch if you have somebody in your corner that is willing to support you in these ways and would make big moves for you, big life moves, big career moves, and that's super important because he's so supportive.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I just know so many women especially, you know, it's always the man. Like, we're going to move wherever the man gets his job or whatever. I have so few women in my life whose men support them like my husband supports me. And so I am just beyond words thankful.
That is a damn shame that you don't have more strong men.
Right?
It is. And I always like prop him up as an example because, like, he's the feminist that I am. He's fabulous.
He's a keeper. You snagged a good one, girl.
I did.
So I guess just to wrap it up, you obviously are living your dream right now, but I know you're a goal setter. So if what are some other things you have up your sleeve, or some other things that you want to conquer in this life?
Well, in this life, my goodness. So here's the thing too, like the clips that you've seen online is just like the smallest taste of our show because they're still building our studio. So it's going to be like this whole other thing in a few months. I think we're launching right now, tentatively it's June, but you know how construction is.
Yeah.
So like I'm so excited to get in the throes of like a daily show where it's my name that pops up. It's my show. Like, that's insane. Like, those are dreams that they're dreams that I had, but you know how you are. Like, I want you shoot for the stars. You don't actually think you're going to reach the stars.
Right.
So I don't know. I want to grow this, and I am that person. I am that goal setter and go-getter to where I am always thinking 5 steps ahead, and that's just something that I have always done, and I'm really trying really hard right now to just focus on the right now because this is amazing, and I don't want to look back and think that I didn't give it my all because I was waiting for the next thing. So I'm really focusing on just trying to live in this moment right now, and that's like a life lesson for myself to just realize that, you know. But gosh, what do I want to do next?
I think you answered it beautifully. I mean, I'm happy, like, you know, that you're like, I'm living in the now, and I think that is the most beautiful answer, you know, for sure, because you are literally living your dream, which is amazing.
I know.
And
I am. It's crazy.
And I always say, like, I'm a Jersey girl. You know, if you can make it through your first East Coast winter, you can make it through anything.
You know what? I got really lucky. It only snowed like twice. It was cold, but it didn't snow too much.
It may still happen. You still got till like May. So
True. What are you saying, Megan? Stop it. Do not put that negativity
I'm sorry.
in my life.
I know. But I just as an East Coaster as well, I know. As soon as you think it's done, as soon as you get that nice first warm day, it's like, bam, 30 blizzard.
And let's be honest. And let's be honest, with our current administration, we're not doing anything for climate change, so it's only gonna get worse.
Talk about that for another hour.
That's why I love you, Heather.
That's a good reason why people that listen to this podcast should tune into your show in case you missed it, because they're going to hear all of your opinions, and they're all fabulous, and we are so thankful that you came on this show today. Where can the people find you and look out for you?
Well, you can find me on social media at HeatherGTV, but go to HuffPost.com. That's where our show's going to live. Also, it's on Roku right now, and I forget the other one. That's really bad of me. Oh, Apple News. It's there, too. And yet, like I said, like when the show launches, a full like studio show, it's going to be so exciting. And it's not just my opinions either, because I don't always have the right opinions, but we're really kind of going to live in this space, like the intro said, just of where pop culture and entertainment news kind of meet. And it used to be such a rare thing, and it is now an everyday thing. And I just feel like our show is going to be something different and unique for those people who care about the world, but also care about what Kylie Jenner's doing.
What a pitch, woman. We love it.
Yes, exactly. Heather, thank you so much. And please also give us a heads up right before you guys actually launch, because that we'll promo on our social as well.
Oh, well, thank you guys so much. This was super, super fun. Really.
Well, we're so grateful. All right, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Boss Please Pod. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes. Navigate the path to your best self with us, because bossing together is always better.